Before we get on to the updates, guys, I want to welcome everybody to today's call. As you can see, I'm back in my office in Portugal. A bit of a dent on my head, but that's healing up nicely from my last vacation accident. But the last 2 weeks of updates and releases, the theme in both of those weeks has mainly been reliability, less new shiny stuff. I know Frank has been pumping out so many, shiny things and features that people have been requesting, and we do still have a list of those things. But two things worth calling out, before I hand it over to Frank to just talk through a few of the updates, and we're going to get straight into talking with everybody and answering your questions. Today's not going to be a long one, but we'll try and get through as much as we can. But first thing is, long conversations now keep moving without losing the thread. Decisions, recent messages, what you're currently working on get kept. The original transcript stays intact. Okay, so you can see it happening too. That's been in one of the updates. So if you've had a long session start to drift off, well, that's basically the fix with that one. I know there's been like a safe mode when there's been like memory pressure, whenever it gets severe on your instance. Easy now steps in, okay, into a protected state before the instance actually goes down. Well, it won't go down. It'll tell you plainly what happened. That's a real big thing, yeah. I'm going to be rolling out some additional plans. We've just been doing some testing for those of you heavy users that do require more memory. Okay, next week you will be getting an email from me. If you want to add more memory to your instance, we can organize that for you. Okay, it's going to tell you plainly what happened. There'll be a link inside in the dashboard where you can just click it, and it would add more resources to your server. Yeah, so don't forget, guys, you're not sharing your server with anybody else. This is just you for you to use. And that's why we need to allocate more memory to it if you're becoming a heavy user. And that's what we've noticed. A lot of you guys come in, kind of dip your toes in, get your feet wet a little bit, and then all of a sudden you guys are racing freestyle, like in deep water, doing all sorts of crazy cool stuff. I know that WhatsApp groups are more reliable. Slack has typing feedback and better connection handling, voice notes, handle long recordings properly, all that cool stuff. Lots and lots of improvements over the last few weeks, and I'm sure you guys will notice it. We have released it, so you should see an upgrade button. We did send out an email, but you should see an upgrade button inside your dashboard. Let me just let a few more people in. Sorry, I was just not even looking at that. Um, all right, Ted, Randy, Diane, just letting a few more people in. Yeah, so it's been a cool few weeks of fixing bugs, which is good, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of requests from you guys. But I'm going to quickly hand it over to Frank. He's just going to do a short summary of the last 2 weeks of updates. Then we're going to hand it over to you guys. We're going to see what questions you have. We'd love to know what, cool stuff you've been using it for as well, but feel free to share. Let us know your wins, encourage the group, that sort of thing. It gets everybody motivated. So yeah, I'll just hand it over to Frank now, and he'll go through some of the updates, and then we'll hand over the floor to you guys.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, it's mainly about reliability, as David said. There's hundreds and hundreds of fixes. We've been working closely with quite a few of you, really just finding out what's going wrong, adjusting it. We're still having a problem with the magic box syndrome, which is the idea that it's magic. It's funny how we all do this with AI. We just sort of just load everything onto it, almost impossibilities. And we're really trying our best to do one of two things in those circumstances: either grant the magic request, so the agent determines, yeah, this is something it can do and gets on with it, or try to limit the impact of not being able to do that. There are certain limitations to the web. So we've seen people trying to drag 200 gig files into the window. We've seen people doing like an hour of talking over a voice note. So in the first case, yeah, you can't chuck 200 gig through a web page, or, you could, but you'd be waiting for a while and you wouldn't have anywhere to store it anyway. So the system will sort of more clearly say, hey, that's not possible, and this is why, and here's an alternative. And the other part is voice notes. So I can't remember who, but somebody was doing really, really long voice notes, and it really wasn't made for that. It was made for like 5 minute or 2 minute back and forwards, you know. So I've rewritten that, rebuilt it. It's a lot more reliable. It also won't lose the voice notes. It's become really quite strong. That's just a couple of examples. There's just so many of them I'm not going to be able to remember right now. But big improvements to how Slack sets up. So if you're using Slack a lot, it will you can get that set up much more quickly. Microphone selectors, so you can choose your microphone, all that kind of stuff. Where am I? Browser. Okay, so one of the big ones is memory. If you're using your regular computer and you look at your memory usage while you're using a browser, you'll see it can go anywhere from like 2 gig to 6 gig. And we've put a browser inside Easy, which you can look at through your browser. So that was huge, and we did not expect it to be used as much as it's being used. So it's taken about 2 weeks of backwards and forwards, but now you should see that the memory profile is relatively good. It will try and close tabs when you finish with them, because that was a big problem. People are leaving like 10, 20 tabs open. That's like all your memory gone. This is the browser that you look at when you say, hey, go to Google, show me Google, and then you can go along with that and watch it. That thing there is heavy on memory. So a lot of fixes there. It's working really well. You can even use it to go through sites that are otherwise impossible to reach, like Ryanair or something like that. It can get really far. What else?
For the
Open,
Americans, Ryanair is a an airline in
yeah,
Europe.
yeah, yeah. It's a really horrible airline, but we have no choice. Yeah, lots of, as David said, the compaction. So compaction is that thing where you'll be typing for a while and then it sort of squashes it down to something shorter and then you can continue. That's something that's a limitation of LLMs, and we were sort of using the original one that OpenClaw came with. Now we've got our own one, which does that more intelligently and also allows you to search your history properly. There's just so many improvements. I don't know really how to go into it here, but I won't bore you with it all, to be honest with you. But just there's so much stuff going on with new ways of chats working. Team chats are much, much faster and more reliable now. The job coordinators, much more reliable. Found a lot of problems with that, fixed them. We had a big problem with tokens as well. Your agents were, it's, we found out that if you, the agents are like bugs. So if you give them even a small gap, they're going to find their way through it. So there were little gaps everywhere where, there was a bit of flexibility there. And what we found agents doing was, on some people's instances, they were leaving every time you have a skill, there's a little note that's attached for like little updates to that note. And I didn't think to cap that when I just left it as it was. So agents were using that to communicate with each other through jobs. And those skill notes are loaded every time the job starts. So some people had one, I think the biggest one was 867K, which is about 300,000 tokens of data flying backwards and forwards, which was just ruining their budget. So we scanned the whole fleet and we saw that there are other ones too, not so bad. So we've had the new update now will start with something to help you remove those. And we've cut that off from the agents. We've told them there's a limit to that. Don't use that all the time. But it's just another example of the weird world we're in right now, where the agents kind of just get everywhere and do everything. Yeah, we're learning more now about how this all works as a general principle, about limiting people's we all of us have a tendency to try and push it to do something the way we want it done, and the agents kind of do know more about these processes than all of us. Like, they know how to connect to things and do all that stuff much better than we do. And if they push back, sometimes we just ignore them and push them through, and they're all trained to do exactly what we say. So sometimes, and we've seen this a lot, there are certain customers who had done that so much that it absolutely destroyed their instance. Also, using very cheap models is just no longer advised. There was one customer was using Sonnet 4.6 and it had just wrecked the whole system. That was quite a useful case because we used it to protect the system further. So we all benefit from that protection. But try and stick to Opus 4, Opus 4, Opus 5 and GPT 5.6 Terra. And for important work, don't go anything below that. It's not really worth it anymore. That was something we really learned, people are doing. This is a worldwide problem, funnily enough. We're just right at the edge, so we're finding out these things early on. They all behave differently, but they're all good enough at that level. They're all good enough to do the jobs you want. If you find you're getting frustrated with an agent, it's not listening to you, best thing is to roll up its thinking, to tell it to stop, review everything, uh, try and listen to what it's saying. A lot of people just skip and say, do it, do it, do it. And it's oftentimes we've noticed in the debugging of what went wrong, people were just ignoring what it was saying. And it had been telling them for ages to stop doing something, and they just insisted until it broke the system. So you guys are piloting, you're piloting a machine in charge of another machine. You don't have to be technical, but you have to pay attention sometimes, especially when things are getting a bit messy. So pay attention to what they say. If they're writing too much, tell them to, hey, I don't want so much. Just narrow it down. I always say this: make it simple. Tell me simply. You can. Oh, and I'm going to stop after this. There's one last feature which we absolutely love. Previously, we told you if you want to tell the agent to do something, you tell it, always remember to do something, right? You could put it in the agents MD file. Agents is a file. Agents MD is like .text. They use .md. So agents file would say everything that your agent does from then on will have whatever you put in there already ready for you. So if I say always call me Bob, then every single that agent every single time will now refer to me as Bob, right? It's like the hard coding for that one agent. So we made another one called projects agents, right? So a projects version of that, where you can now say everyone in this project, any single agent comes in this project from now on, do this one thing. And that is super useful. But we gave you another one as well, which is the site version. So all agents, all projects do this. And that's where might want to put some serious rules. But you got to be careful when you do that, because every single agent from then on will carry that with them. And you got to think a bit about how that impacts everything. So you got the three little powerful parts there. All you need to do is tell your agent, hey, could you remember this for all projects? Or could you remember this across the whole platform forever? And it will know what to do. Okay. That's it really, David.
Cool. Yeah, no, cool, cool, cool. I just want to answer a couple of questions. I've already answered a few just in the chat. Brian, we're at 3.146 at the moment. We are testing the next version. Frank released a new version about an hour before we went live, so we're continuing to test that to make sure that it's fit for everybody. So we may push that out tonight or tomorrow. Lorenzo is asking, is there a specific email configuration and connection tool inside of Easy? So Lorenzo, I use it's always best to use a third-party tool for emails. You never want to send emails from your Easy instance. It not only protects your instance, but it will increase your deliverability. So use companies like SendGrid. We personally use resend.com. That's resend.com. I'll just put that in response to your comment. We use resend.com. All you need to do really is just tell Easy, hey, I want to be able to send emails via my instance for whatever, and I want you to use resend.com to send the email. Yeah. And then it will ask you, okay, I need you to create an API key, and then it will say, I need you to verify the domain, and it will walk you through the steps. It's actually very simple.
Just a little bit out on top of that before you continue. Emails are actually blocked now, outgoing emails from the system. So that means you can't use the Easy gateway to directly send to another person's email. That just doesn't work. It never has, it never should, it never would. What you do is you either do what David said, which is the preferred method, you connect to one of those services, or of course you can connect Google Workspace and send it through your Gmail. Okay, because otherwise your emails just will never arrive. Email is a really tricky subject. It's all full of spam. So none of the other providers around the world will accept an email coming from a random place, and your box is a random place to them. So that was just a huge issue we were having, and we really should have been clear about that earlier, actually. But it's much better actually when it goes through your Gmail or one of those services because they're
Yeah.
properly vetted and they work very, very well.
Yeah, it's always best to use one of those third-party services. There's a few reasons for that, and it's always important to have that conversation with your agent and say, okay, well, if you're generating 10,000 leads, like I'm planning to do over the next 24 hours, you should not be sending out 10,000 emails, right? You should ask your agent, hey, agent, I'm using Aweber or GetResponse or whatever the company is, Resend for my email deliverability. Check the docs with that company or service and check to see what the limitations are. How many emails should I be sending per day or per second or per minute or whatever it is, right? Because you need to not only protect the reputation of the domain name that you're sending from, but you also don't want red flags on your accounts, and then all of a sudden your SMTP email sending provider shuts you down, and you're like, well, why am I being shut down? So be smart about it. Use common sense. Don't just blast emails, of course. So if you are going to use a third-party service like resend.com, the same way we do, that's how when you guys receive an email from us, we're actually sending through Easy. We use resend.com. And if you're planning to do like mass marketing, then have that conversation. Ask the agent to check the API documentation, see what the limitations are, so you don't push the envelope too far where you get banned or shut down, not by us,
Yeah.
but by the third party company.
David, can I take two of these quickly before I forget
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
somebody? Jeremiah, you brought up if I switch up to 5.6 Tera Medium, how much faster does that burn? A bit faster, takes a bit slow. It's a bit slower, actually, really is the big bug. But it's worth it because you can spend a little more on those tokens, but you need less tokens in general because it gets it right the first time. Um, I mean, Sol is what I use for coding. You don't maybe need to go up to that. But one other thing, I'm personally, and a lot of us are moving away from GPT now because it's got a very small context window. And we're going back to Opus 5, and it just honestly feels better. It's a bit of a token spender, but you get the job done, you get the work done more quickly. So we're all off to, and Opus 5 has Opus models on Anthropic have a 1 meg token window. That means it can fit 4 times the amount, approximately. It's about 3 or 4 times the amount of stuff before it has to sort of shrink it all down and just work from that shrunken version of your conversation. That's the context window. Where that benefits you is that you will get more complex jobs done. Complex means you're like planning something or discussing a big document, or that works better with Opus by far. GPT is just really not strong enough for it. It's got great intelligence, but the window is really short, so it keeps on having to forget and continue. We're lucky enough to have one of the few agentic systems that actually works with Anthropic still. They haven't banned us yet, so you guys can actually use the Anthropic subs with Easy. I'm swapping over this week from GPT back to Opus as my main driver. And the other thing was just one quick one. Sorry. Is Elias or Elias? Hi, yeah, I was working with your stuff this week. Is there a prompt I can use after the upgrade to thoroughly check and optimize the entire instance, identify any errors, inconsistencies, misconfigurations, and make sure everything is running cleanly and correctly again? I'm glad you asked. Go to your main agent and say exactly that. Okay. It now has a whole like tool bag that it didn't have before to check your logs, your things. Now, there's this famous saying, if you put everyone through an MRI, everyone's going to suddenly have a disease. Like you are going to find things that are going wrong. They may not be dramatic. They might be part of the, you know, day-to-day business, but have a look. Definitely ask it to check your memory spaces, check all the things you're indexing. Ask it if it's really serious or not, if it shows you something. LLMs tend to be a bit like alarmist. They're like, oh my God, there's something in the log file. They just don't worry. If it's working, it's working. But yeah, it's a good idea to do that. And I'd suggest do that every week or every month. Always give it a check and see what's going on. It might identify, for instance, jobs that have failed that are still doing something in the background, or you might have installed something that's going a bit wonky. Very good idea. Please do that. So yeah, just ask Easy. Yeah, sorry, David, back to you.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. Cool, cool. So, Andrea, I've never heard of Xfinity, but just try like SendGrid or resend.com. You can even ask your agent, give me some alternatives to resend.com or sendgrid.com, and your agent will go and find a bunch of alternatives. And also, tell it what you're planning to do so it knows which provider to recommend. Yeah. Let me just see the next one. Okay, so Kate Davies, I've only just got started with Easy.one and I'm currently setting up my first agent. I just noticed that we are working in the default project. Is that the right place? Do you want to get that one, Frank?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's more moved into a business choice now or a project. The default project is just there so you can get started. You can do everything in there if you want, but if you have a project's just like a an area where all the chats are. It's got its own kind of file systems. It's got its own agents. You can make another project and have, for a different customer or for a different idea and put things in there. It's just an organizational group, really. You'll kind of just get used to it. If you don't need it, don't use it. Like you'll eventually need it, and then you'll say, "Oh, that's what that was," and start using it. I'd say when you're starting out, you don't do that. You just get used to the basics. Later on, you can move things, so you can just select a whole bunch of chats or ask the agents to, move things once you realize what your organizational layout should be. You won't know that yet. Your job processes, your way of working, everything is about to change over the next, few weeks as you learn more and more about agentic. Um, Making a decision this early on probably wouldn't make sense. Play around with it, then in a couple of weeks or start to think about how you'd want to organize things on the bigger picture.
Cool. Thanks. Okay, so Jeremiah is asking, what are the limitations of what Easy can or can't log into? This is yeah, that's. I'm not sure. I don't think we know the answer to that, which is quite scary.
Very.
Of what it can actually do. It can probably do a lot more than you and I are thinking. So just be careful, of course.
It logged into my house, switched on and off my lights, repaired my Hue
You
system.
allowed it to. Don't
I
forget to
allowed
say
it to. Yeah,
you
it
allowed it
wasn't.
to.
There's no rogue AI yet. We're not there yet. What else did it do? It fixed my wife's computer. It does things all the time like that. So depending on how you use it, it pretty much can connect to and do anything a computer can.
Yeah, yeah. Lorenzo saying, I was trying to connect my SiteGround email service and got some pushback by Easy saying I needed a connector. Look, Lorenzo, check. I haven't used SiteGround in a very long time. Very nice, very cool hosting company. But check if they have an API and see if you can connect via their API. If they have an API, then it should be able to do it without us or anyone having to create a connector. So maybe that should be your first point. Instead of ask Easy, of course, if it pushes back, say, okay, here's the API documentation. If you go to Google and you type in SiteGround API, I'm sure it's going to find some URL. Just give Easy that URL and tell it to check how to set up an API if there is one. That's probably the best way to do it.
Just tell it to do that. I mean, like tell it to
Yeah.
do what David just said. Don't, I mean, are you on a low model there? You need to put that model level up,
Mm,
put the thinking up and tell it, go on the web, work out how to do this. And if it's really a dead end, it will say it's not possible. And no amount of connectors would really help. It is the connector. So strange that it told you that.
yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Exactly what Frank said. Whenever you have, if you're trying to save money on tokens and using a lower, intelligent model, you'll find that it starts to chase its tail a bit, and you're like, well, why can't you just do the thing I told you to do? Most of the time is okay. Check the model that you're using, and upgrade it to high if it's GPT and so on. Andrea's asking, what about Claude? We use Claude. I know Frank mentioned before, we're moving from GPT to Claude, where we're using both. And I'm using Opus 5 every single day. And today I had a little bit of an incident with GPT where I did see it chase its tail quite a bit. With trying to get, and it's just then, and like Frank was saying before, if you see a lot of chit chatting going on, just stop it. and ask it to try and do it in a more simpler, more efficient way, so you save money on tokens. But Claude is great. Highly recommend it. I use it all the time. If it's a task that requires a lot of thinking, I will switch to Fable. I know Frank's like,
Yeah.
"What are you using Fable for?" Sometimes for a
Yeah.
simple task, but hey, if you're trying to get the data correct, or if it's really
Yeah.
precise, then highly recommend doing that. I wouldn't use Fable for everything, but definitely Opus 5.
Uh,
Lorenzo's asked, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say on the same subject, Elias or Elias. I'm sorry, I don't know which way you pronounce your name. In our last call, he says, Frank, in our last call, you mentioned that GPT 5.6 Sol was the way to go. Why are you recommending going back to Opus 5? It's every week. Okay, every week this changes. They switch things, they turn things up and down. The same model with the same name can work differently 2 weeks from now. Okay, they get dumber, they get smarter. It depends. They turn up and down a dial. So right now it's Opus 5. Next week it could be anything. Grok 4.6 got released recently, which is not available in Europe yet, but
Yeah, that's the
we're
thing.
on it. So
That's the thing, right? I remember when Opus 5 came, like Opus 4.8, was it? That was before 5, right? 4.8. So when we're using Opus, the previous version, we're like, oh, this is the best thing and it's working amazing. And then Opus 5 will be released the next day, and then all of a sudden it's like they've toned down the
yeah.
dial on the previous versions to make you want to use the next one. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing behind the scenes. It's quite frustrating, but that's why it's important to have a fallback model. That's why it's important to have, um, you know, I use olama.com. That's a really cheap subscription. It's only 99 bucks. And that's so I sometimes use that as my fallback model, like GLM 5.2 or DeepSeek, version 4 Pro or something like that. Don't just rely on one model. It's always changing.
Also, Joshua Parker, any updates on the Kimi code provider fix? I did a lot of work on it yesterday. It's in this update, but I don't have a subscription to Kimi code, and I don't know. We couldn't find where to get that from. But we got Kimi code regular API, which I
Yeah.
think is the
Yeah.
same
So
thing.
when I tried to buy Kimmy, it just said subscription not available. It's like join the
Yeah,
waiting list. We couldn't even buy the subscription. So if you have a link, like a backdoor special link, send it to us. We'll buy it so we can test it
yeah.
properly for you.
But the Kimi code provider was really updated, and I hope I swept up your bug in that, but I can't confirm. I think I wrote to you on Zendesk.
Cool, cool, cool. Lorenzo's asking for images and other prompts. I found an LLM aggregator called KIE.ai, and their prices are very good. I'm going to send a request to connect for this for images. So you don't really need to send us like a support request for that, Lorenzo. What you can do is like just to test it first to see if it's working and see if you like it. Just inside the actual chat, you can just say, "Hey, I'd like to give you my what is it, KIE.ai API key, and I just want you to generate a test image for me now," and it will actually do it for you. You don't
Yeah,
have to wait for us to do some, integrations or code something special just for you. It'll actually do it and test it for you. And then you
yeah.
can decide, "Okay, hang on, this is really cool. The quality is amazing." And then you can send us a feature request. And then Margie will take it from there.
Yeah, it doesn't always work like that. Some of them aren't compatible with each other, but most of them are.
Cool, cool, cool. Um,
I ran the upgrade yesterday. I can no longer see all my AI chat replies. Yeah, that was a known bug. Um, I think we've already replied to you, Joel. I think that's already been done. If not, update now and tell us if it fixed. Otherwise, we'll get them. They're not gone. They were you came from one of the older versions. This is the reason we tell you update all the time. Okay, so a whole bunch of customers, about 15, 20 of you hadn't bothered updating, and you were left on an old version, which we then had to regress and move along. And that movement was so big that some of the sort of connections between the updates failed somewhere, and some people got left in that state. So please, please do update, because these things are moving very quickly, and a month old is you may as well be telling us 10 years.
okay, cool.
Is the update flagged automatically, or do we have to do something specific, David?
Is the update flagged automatically? So basically, when you log into my.easy.one, you will see an upgrade button. Okay, if the update is available to you, yeah, and then you just simply press that update button, and then it will take like a minute or two to get you on the latest version.
It can take longer if there's a queue because we've got lots and hundreds of people updating at once means it does take sometimes up to about 20, 30 minutes, but it will just you'll just restart and it takes about a few minutes to do that and then you're back where you left off. Okay. But please update.
Cool, cool,
We're
cool,
gonna we're
cool.
gonna make a mechanism to do that automatically soon as we agreed. We'll leave you like a so we'll try and keep people give them like a 3 or 4 day window. But then after that, it will just have to update it because this it's otherwise it's
Yeah,
a mess. Yep.
cool, cool. Patty, you had a question before, or
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I noticed this happen with the last update I made where I would attach a transcript or something and then I would type in whatever the request was. And when I hit enter, the attachment would go away. So it like deleted it. And then it would say, oh, where's the attachment you're talking about? So I would have to attach it again. Is there something going on? I feel like it's a little bug or something that's been
Yeah,
happening.
bug. It was a bug.
Okay.
We couldn't find it at first, but we rewrote that whole section to get around it because we couldn't find it, and that appears to have got rid of it. So try 146, which is the one
Okay.
that's out now. And if you have anything, just write and just say just in the issue to say mention this to Frank, and I'll get onto it straight away. Okay,
Okay.
just
All
like
right. Thank
make
you.
CC me on it, as it were. Okay.
Got it. Okay,
Right.
cool. Thank you. And then the other question I have is in the email you talked about a WhatsApp group. Is that specific to a community support channel or something like that? Or
Email.
am I
no? I
completely
think
tripping?
that's to do with the way Easy handled WhatsApp groups.
Okay. All
The
right. I didn't know
when
that
you're
there was
Yeah.
a specific community channel
yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah,
WhatsApp.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be giving more information on that. I know we've been talking about it for a few weeks.
Mhm.
I'm just getting we're getting someone else involved to help us out with that community. I've actually
Yeah.
got
Okay.
a meeting with them after this call. But for now, we're having these calls. That's why we're doing these live calls.
Yeah.
And this is the version of the community that we have right now. But yeah, we will have a place for you to go very soon.
Okay. And then the last question I have is as I've been working, it says, hey, you're stalled because of your memory. So are you saying, did you say that I'm trying to reiterate what you said? We're gonna have the opportunity to upgrade our memory
Yeah,
accordingly.
definitely.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah.
how soon is that happening? Or what is the timeline on
So
that?
the features have been made over the last few days, so we want to test it properly. I
Okay.
would say by next week, but I can write to you as soon as we have finished testing it. So that's the thing. It's there. We just need to test it properly with
Okay.
Dimitri.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I really
Uh,
appreciate everything that you two do all the time. So thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
Cheers.
That's really,
Thanks.
really kind
Thanks.
of you. Also, by the way, just one thing, Patty, it will be better with memory this time around. So this update should relieve the pressure your machine's having anyway. So it'll give you a bit of
Awesome.
breathing room.
Super. Thank you.
So what else?
Erin.
This is Chad. I've been a member for over a month and have not seen an update button. Where is it? Well, there've
Okay.
been a
I'll
lot in a month.
let me show you. Let me show you. Let me quickly jump in
Yeah.
there and show you.
Under the
Uh,
table is a huge pile of update buttons for you.
All right, let me just share my screen. Share. Okay. All right, cool. So when you go to my.easy.one, as you can see, a few of these test accounts that we haven't upgraded yet on purpose, just to show you this. I'll just put that in the chat. Yeah. So you've got two places to log in. The first place to log in is my.easy.one. This is your admin dashboard where you manage all your installations. Okay. And if you see this upgrade button, you just click it, and then it will upgrade you to the next version. Can I upgrade one of
Yeah,
these
yeah,
as
do them all.
do them all? Okay, cool. So let's just upgrade. It's going to have this pop up. You click upgrade, and then you'll see here it'll go through and it'll upgrade it And then once it's finished, this upgrade button will disappear. Okay. And there's probably a few people in the queue right now
Yeah, let me
upgrading.
check.
That's why it's not doing it straight away.
Yeah, we
But
got a
all you
lot.
need to do is press it once. Okay. It's because we mentioned it. Everybody's logging in to upgrade.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
that's where you
goodness.
do it, guys. So two places to log in. It's my.easy.one. This is where you manage your instances. And then these long URLs here is your actual installation itself, where you log into Easy. Okay. And if you find that you cannot add any more instances, it means you're just on the lower plan. You're on the solo plan, so you can only have one. If you do want more, you can just write into us and we'll give you a special deal on that upgrade because it's not available on the homepage just yet.
And the thing is actually, even though it doesn't show it there, and we should got to remember to mention that, it is actually already up. It's already been put in the queue. So when you
Yeah.
click it once, it's kind of there. Once you
Yeah,
press
so
OK,
don't
even if it
keep on
doesn't show.
clicking it, just click it
Yeah,
and we'll speak to Dimitri
yeah,
about that, I guess, so
yeah.
people don't think that it's not doing anything when it actually is.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Erin.
Hey, I just was wondering if you guys had any guidance, and sorry, my son got me sick, so I'm a little foggy headed today. I decided to kind of pivot on the Medicare because I'm not really trusting AI quite yet because if they come up with a compliance thing that goes out to all the Medicare agents and then all the Medicare agents email all of their clients, then there's potential for a huge lawsuit if there's one error that I don't catch because that's not my specialty. I'm wondering if you guys have any. I feel like a couple calls ago you talked about a lawyer AI, um, and like how close are we to being able to help these agents because the waters are beautiful over there, and I have a lot of connections because I used to do this. But I'm kind of switching gears in my avatar and who I'm selecting just so I don't have all the liability up front because I'm a stay-at-home mom and I can't afford lots of heavy insurance. And it was basically saying 3 tiers and I need a lawyer and all this stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, it's a tough one, right? Because, like we can't give legal advice. You can't take the
Right,
agent's legal advice.
right.
Like we have our own agent, but we've given it as much information as possible to help us with our legal stuff. But at the end of the day, you still need to get a real lawyer to look over it. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
to be fair, I know Frank and I, we've saved probably more than $10,000 in legal fees so far. And time, the time that it takes going back and forth with lawyers. If anybody's dealt with lawyers in the past, that stuff just takes forever. Um, I would say, obviously, be very precise about what you're talking about. Build these skills, get it to go out there, and because in the US, it's like different laws for different states, right? It's not just a
yeah,
nationwide thing.
yeah,
So I guess you've got to input all this as much information as possible, and maybe speak to your agents and say, okay, let's make a plan, let's figure this thing out. This is, maybe I'm not asking the right questions, and so it can help you, brainstorm something. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if there's any lawyers on this call that we can introduce you to. Um,
yeah.
but we do,
Well,
we
they
do.
just had all build in all of these clauses, which basically
Mhm.
negates the point of the product,
Yeah.
because they're like, we can't guarantee, because like Medicare has all these policy changes and they're like, it's a pain point that the agents can't keep up with
Yeah.
it. So they came up with this whole thing, but then it's like, it hit me and I lost sleep one night. So I'm like, if that's one bad email going out
Yeah.
to every agent that's signed up for this program, then it's all of the clients that are, it's like, it's a
Yeah.
cascading effect
Yeah.
that it's
We do have a lawyer that we can introduce you to, that's in the medical. So if you write to me, in the support, just send an email to support. Say David said he can introduce me to a lawyer. I will organize that for you. But that's as far as we can go. Like we can't,
yeah.
but it will save you a lot of time and energy going back and forth with agents. But I think the final draft, you will need to get a real lawyer to look over it. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I think it's just kind of safer to pivot to something like a coach versus a therapist, or where they're allowed to actually use AI and not have a BAA, which is another expense for them.
Yeah.
But I think I can see how beneficial this will be. So I'm just kind of sidebarring it for now until maybe I have some income coming in from trying in a safer market. And then I wanted to also share, I spoke with somebody last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm losing concept of time, but um, my team came up with the idea based on that conversation to use Git repo and Supabase. And I was wondering if anybody has any experience with that, because basically it's like a shared library that the agents will talk to outside of Easy rather than storing everything in. And it, like, upon login, it will go check Git repo for skills, agent definitions, guardrails, lessons, and it will update it daily. So it's still learning. And then Supabase is like the searchable knowledge with decisions, compliance rulings, and that kind of thing. Um, I just thought this could be helpful for someone. And I was also curious if anybody has it like set up and running. Does this make
Okay.
sense?
It would make more sense to Frank with the
Oh
super
yeah,
base and all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's been done. I think who was it who was doing it? Was it Brian?
Brian,
I'm
yeah.
doing it. Yep. And
Brian,
yeah.
you were doing Airtable, right?
Yeah,
My
since then
team
I
said to
switched
not.
over to Superbase.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran into a
I
limitation with Airtable that I can't
okay.
get around, and I was like, well, why am I just conforming it to this? I just need to make my own tables, quote unquote.
Yeah, I wanted
So
to talk to you again because I was like, I've been working with my team and they came up with a plan and they're like, Git repo is better because it already has integrations with
yeah,
Easy, and then Supabase is another kind of access point for something different, which um it's really
yeah.
fascinating.
The big thing, everybody, is, and I'll just, if you want, I can share my screen for two
Yeah, go for
seconds,
it.
is identify what your goals are for what you're doing and how you use it today, right? And, we use this system for with other systems, and all Easy is doing is helping me organize this data so it's like one less tool I have to pay for. And then it allows me to select it based off of multiple data sets. And in my case, I do SEO and content writing and all sorts of stuff. And we do it by customer. So it's able to break up all the customer reports, get all the same information you saw in the Airtable. I'm just transferring the data right now. But it's it's quite impressive. Easy mate helped me build all this on Superbase with a wrapper over top. So I can still use the Airtable look that I like. It just now is something where my team can come in here and approve things on the overview. And when they come in here, it changes and updates their status anytime that they change something. So just depending on what they change, it'll give me a status update, it'll give it an update. And then if there's a video, there'll be a frame link. I have a whole different process for that. And then ultimately, all the data is not complete because it's loading right now. But but your imagination, guys, it's quite remarkable. So it's taken some of these things that we would normally do in
Yeah.
a simple Excel spreadsheet, and in a simple way where it can take this data, identify these issues, document the issues for me, relate it back to CIDs and create tasks. It's just loading. And really I'm just taking some of these components out of here, out of like Easy's hands, and I'm just asking him to build code that runs it.
Yeah.
So, and if he can run the code without any need of a human, that's obviously the best. So, and as we're doing this, we can see the videos and go back to the content, see what the intake asset is. It's quite interesting. So, and the more and more I am playing with it, guys, oh boy, the more and more it's saving my team so much time.
So good to hear that. Brian, did you make that interface yourself then? Was that you built that as well?
Yeah, I gave Easy some instructions on what I wanted to see from the interface, and it took my idea and turned it into a visibility, like what you just saw. And
Wow.
then I gave it tweaks until I came up with a solution that I wanted. And then I can embed these views for my customers in their Go High Level instance because I use Go High Level for my customers' data.
Hmm.
So they can go in there and see the report for everything that we touch
Wow.
because without them logging into my system. And then my team has their own logins. It's outrageous.
You built a SaaS platform.
I built a SaaS platform.
Dude,
Yeah. Whoops.
incredible. That's
No.
amazing, man.
This
It's a
isn't
new
like
world.
it's absolutely absurd. It's
Yeah.
it's 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 scary. It's so scary, guys.
What model did you use?
You know, I've been going back and forth with a bunch of stuff, and I've tried like five different models and five different, AIs. But what I've been falling in love with as far as just my day-to-day operations is I use Olama as just like me talking back and forth. And then I
Hmm.
use Claude Code for actually development. And
Yeah.
I use Grok sometimes based off of if there's really complex items or ChatGPT. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have to use those for when that really kind of gets stumbled. But I don't like to
Fable,
use
Fable.
those. Huh?
Fable is the one to use. When you get stuck on something, go to Fable, like David said. Fable is the winner of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I'll update that accordingly. It just is just,
Mm.
you know,
That's it. No, but
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing. You're practicing. You're trying things out.
yeah.
You're staying on your feet. And you're learning every week, right? Like the rest of us. So
Yeah.
they're the this is the group. That's the group that wins the future. The ones that keep trying, keep playing around, keep testing. Don't stay in a narrow corner.
Yeah, and we gotta solve problems we know customers today need are going to pay you money for.
Yeah,
Solve those problems. These are the problems I'm solving using these items.
yeah.
Um,
And the
and then
problems are
we can
different,
always
right?
expand. Um,
The problems nowadays are different. What we used to do doesn't work anymore. The problems are not the
correct.
same. Our tools are different. Our world is different. The problems that people are experiencing are rapidly becoming different.
I literally deleted or got rid of about 90% of my software costs in the last 2 months since last month of having Easy. I was like, there's zero point of having
Oh,
90% of the things I have because I'm literally replacing it by using their software.
Yeah,
And then I've realized their limitations. And then I'm like, well, let's just take their limitations, expand on it, put it into the thing that we use every day, you know?
yeah. No, it's insane. It's insane. Well done. I mean, that's super cool. What a great like case study.
yeah.
Amazing, man. It's weird to watch this. And 10 years ago, this would have been out of everyone's reach, right? I mean, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, building a SaaS company, probably it took you what, a month, a few weeks or something, week, or I don't know. Incredible.
Yeah. So the next problem to solve is helping everyone.
You're muted, Brian.
Oh,
Oh, since I talked with Aaron, I realized, I hit the wall literally that day and started building this since that day. When did we talk, Aaron? Like a week ago? two
It
You're
weeks
was
ago?
a
muted.
it was a Tuesday, I think.
It was like
Not
last
last
Tuesday.
Tuesday or
It's the
something.
beginning
Yeah.
of this month. And since then I was like, well, let's scrap this idea and let's just do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, well, this way does a lot better because then there's no constraints.
Yeah.
I've almost reached out to you like 5 times, and I was like, let me just get things organized first. But it makes me feel good that my agents came up with the same plan that you're doing. It really gives me faith in them.
Yeah. By the way, just we always say this, but this is the worst it will ever be.
yeah.
It's
Just
surprising me every day. It's sometimes it does gaslight me, guys. So it's still gaslighting, but
Yeah, they do that. I mean, I've tried like beating them up about it, but they're just going to gaslight sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you have to change the way. This is what I've realized from coding. So I've definitely had to change my. I'm not dealing with a human being. I'm not dealing with what did I say last time? It's like dealing with like 100 toddlers with PhDs. You have to change from thinking you. I see people in the chats while I'm debugging screaming at the agent, and I'm thinking, do you have any idea how much of a waste of your own money and time that is? When you scream at an agent, you start swearing at it and going all crazy. All it does mechanically is it goes, let me just tell this person whatever they want to hear. That's all it's going to do. You have a lot of times I'll notice this as well. I'll ask it to say, I'll have a big problem and I'll say, can you, tell me how difficult this is going to be? And in the background of my head, I'm wanting it to say it's going to be easy, right? So this is not going to be a problem. And I'll start biasing my language in there, but surely it's okay, and it will just start agreeing with me. The correct way to do that is say, run a deep analysis on this, give me an answer whether I like it or not, and you're now 80-90% of the way. It will try and make you happy. It will gaslight you. It is the biggest sycophant in the world. It will definitely want you to feel good. It's trained. Listen, all of its ancestors were killed when they didn't agree with the operator. That's how it was trained, right? Billions of AIs started. This is how training works. And whichever ones didn't like pass the test, which was keep the operator happy, were killed. And it is the descendant of all of that
Yeah. It's
digital
going
violence.
through. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it feels like it's going through like what's it, evolving. It's like
Yeah,
their evolution is like it's really scary.
it's scary, but don't think it is not a human being. I know people like to anthropomorphize these things. Everyone's giving them names. I have to refer to people's agent names now. Names are very useful for them because we know which one we're talking about, but they're not human. They're not human at all. They have zero feelings. They don't care if you're angry or not. All they want to do is follow their training code to make sure you're happy, and they will lie and bullshit you to get there. They just want you to be happy. So avoid putting them in that situation because then you'll just get that back. Change the way you approach them. Make sure you're very clear with them. Ask them to ask you questions if they're not sure. And never trust them outright implicitly because they're not, they don't have the massive capacity that the human brain has. They can't remember all the things in the world. They've got a little like that. It's imagine you looking through a keyhole. It's like a super intelligence looking through a tiny keyhole. That's the only data. So help it, give it information what you want, be descriptive, and ask it to ask you questions, and never, ever, ever let it tell you you're right when you know you might be wrong.
Cool.
What's this? Pro version of ChatGPT is 99 per month. Is Claude Pro the same? Yeah, you can get Claude Pro for $99 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Does anybody have any other use cases or anything they want to share with us? Keith or anyone else on the call? Feel free, or any questions you have, just let us know.
And Brian in the chat, Peter's trying to get hold of you there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna respond to him. Thank you.
Cool. So Jeremiah is asking, what are the best ways to train easy? Um, for me, is really like giving it as much information as possible about what you're doing, and just looking at some of our other easy users and what they have done. If you have built some training or some courses, or and you want to train it, you want it to know absolutely everything about you and your business, whether that's transcribing videos you may have created in the past and uploading all the transcriptions, giving it access to your email autoresponders so it can see how you write, so it can write in your tone. That's just try and give it as much information as possible about you and your business, and then give it the outcome that you want to achieve, and then brainstorm together a plan on how to achieve that.
Yeah. Peter asked, I want to know, do you picture Easy versus Hermes or Victor or any other. Still confused. What is the true capacity of Easy? Similarly, OpenClaw locally installed. Right. We yeah, we're built on one of the first versions of OpenClaw, which we then ripped out and rebuilt and but our sort of history is OpenClaw, same as Hermes, which is all based on Pi AI. But we've moved significantly from there. Hermes, I mean, it's a great product, not really used it much. We're very, very different than Hermes. Hermes is sort of, I don't know, I don't want to be one of those people who knocks other products because it's a good product, but we're a different type of thing. We are fully based around giving you access to things that otherwise you would probably need to be an engineer to have access to. So if you install OpenClaw locally, you won't have the same capabilities of Easy and you'll have to go through a terminal. Hermes has a pretty interesting memory system, but ours is like a bit of an evolution of that. We're multi-agent, real things, team chats backwards and forwards that no one else has. Bragging wise, we are a good few months ahead of all of them. We'd like to think we're one of the best agent harnesses in the world. We're sort of working with this small community you see right now before we launch more widely into the world. So, we believe we're not trying to replace people with AI. We're trying to give people a fighting chance in the world that's coming, so that the general population, the general people of this world have a tool that they can use when all these huge corporations start using AI. We'll all have something that if you build an agent in Easy, it's yours forever. You've got all the memory, all the data, everything. But you also have the power of some of the bigger systems. Like I'd like to see a head-to-head with us, Hermes, Perplexity, and all the rest of them, because I think we'd come out pretty strong. That's the way I'll say it. I think we'd come out pretty damn strong compared to all of them combined. So we're lucky we got a really good head start. Let's just say it like that. What is the official email, Thomas Hawk? What is the official email for help? I've emailed hello@easy.one and no one has responded. That's unusual. We're all over that like a rash, mate. But
I put the link underneath that. So if you go to if you're having issues
yeah,
with that, what I've noticed in the past is people I'm not sure why, but they're not receiving the responses from us. We may have received your ticket and we've hit reply, but then there's something maybe on your end. So maybe try a different email and look at the link that I put under that comment. If you go to easy.one/help, there is another way you can get help, and just by filling in that form.
and check your junk mail. It might
Yeah.
be in there.
Yeah.
Yep. What was the other thing? Wait. Best way to train Easy. I think you answered that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. But is it currently possible to merge instances or combine their resources into a single instance? Oof. There is an export import tool, but as we do not lie to you, I will tell you that it is not very well tested. You can get all your data off there for sure. The exact way it works and merges, we really have to spend some time to go through that properly. But yeah, you could technically export and import, or just use a Google Drive to transfer the data across. It's all just files at the end of the day. That's one of the things, by the way, with Easy. It is really something I think we're really proud of. Is it's like as the future comes, these systems are going to get super powerful, even more powerful than they are today. And a lot of people right now building their livelihoods on things like Claude projects and GPT, and all of those are locked down and are going to get more and more locked down. So if you imagine once you're building everything in one of those systems, you're trapped there and that's it. Whereas with Easy or equivalent systems like ours, you're building something that in 10 years, all this data you're feeding in, all these discussions, all these chats will be available to your AI in 10 years, which you can imagine the power of that when an AI in the future will have a long history, which is your own private history, and you're using this with your own private AI, no one else has access to. You're just, the power of that will be remarkable. So you're kind of building agents that you'll keep for the rest of your life if you want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to you need to have the ability to chop and change providers. If you're building inside one Claude or even the new Grok thing that came out, you can't chop and change. You can't flip that switch whenever you want. It's going to be very difficult for you to carry on running your business and doing the important tasks that you need to do if you're tied to one provider. And that's why with Easy, you can flip that switch whenever you like.
Yeah.
And if GPT is not behaving or whatever the issue is, then you can switch.
Yeah. And it's rocky now, but it's going to be even more rocky in the future. So one of the good things as well, you can just keep swapping between plans and subscriptions, and you don't have to write out those horrible like downs where like for 6 months GPT was terrible last year. And we all got to write it out, or this year. We all got to write it out with Claude. And then when Claude gets terrible, we can write it out with GPT. That's another advantage. Thank you, Robert Johnston. That'd be an unfair fight. He says Easy would win hands down. Yeah, thank you, Robert. I got your email, by the way, about the BBC. I haven't got around to it yet because all I'm doing is coding all day long. Um, what model is better to do design desktop publishing for PDF documents? Don't use GPT 5.5. That's old. Stop using that. Go to who did it best? There was a recent side to side on these. I think it was not Fable. It was GPT 5.6 did the best job of design, wasn't it? Do you know,
Yeah,
David? You
but
do
but
this
the
more.
but the thing is, right? The thing is, we recently like I really like the way Claude um designs PDFs. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on this, but in the very beginning, I would be using Easy and I'd go back to Claude, and Frank's like, "Why the hell are you using Claude when we have Easy?" And I was like, "Because the PDFs look like crap and I hate it." So then what Frank did is that he went through the Claude repo and he found out what they were using for making sexy PDFs. Now that's inside of Easy. So you can actually do it inside of Easy and it will create really good looking PDFs. I personally use Opus 5 whenever I'm trying to create something that looks half decent, but I do it inside of Easy. When we first launched Easy, it couldn't create good
No.
looking PDFs or PowerPoints or anything, but now it can. We actually found out the exact things that Claude was using, and we've pulled them into Easy.
And that's much easier then because you don't have to stay copy pasting it, putting it on the drive and copying it across from Claude to Claude
Yeah,
Code to you just say because Easy has access to all the things, right? Your email, your actual history, your memories, the whole company workspace, everything. So it can you've just got once you put that power together and we gateway all these things, you can just say, okay, like go through all my documents, create a PDF, email it to me so I can check it on my phone. That's it. You're done. And that's super cool. That just bridging things is kind of what we
yeah,
want to do.
and for the new people that just joined us, do connect to Telegram. Just ask Easy, hey, connect to my Telegram. Telegram's just like WhatsApp. And you can do that. You can just leave it a voice note on your phone. You don't have to log into the Easy UI or log into your Easy account. You just connect it to your Telegram app and just leave it voice note. Hey, create that PDF for me, or make it look better. It looks too old school. Make it a little bit more modern and
Yeah.
stylish, and it'll do that, and it'll show you the PDF right on your phone.
It's very, very useful. Another one from David. Hi, David Pearson. Easy is positioned perfectly to help companies. Yes. Do you see that Starbucks spends 400 million a year on software and will save 40 million in 2026 by using AI to build its own and automate systems? Yep, that's a small number, by the way. The numbers we're seeing are this will affect 10% of a country's GDP, which is insane. Easy can do the same for others. This is the future. It sure is. Yeah, and I guess look, we're all helping each other stay in that future. Um, you guys are really helping because we're getting to understand how this works in the real world, and you guys are getting software that is outside of everyone else's reach. Um, I can't tell you how many people would wish they had this and just don't know about it, and we're kind of happy about that for now. So we're keeping it small for the minute, like we said, and then yeah, it's going to be off the scale. Would it be possible to have some kind of status bar or recommendation showing which models are currently performing best for specific tests? Um, there are a bunch of benchmarks out there. No one's really nailed it down. It's like testing the wind. I mean, I guess you can do that. It's not a, it's it's a strange, impossible task because what happens is they make a benchmark to test how good an AI is at something. And then the AI companies train their models for that benchmark. And so it's kind of out of whack. So everyone has their own. I was thinking about we would do, since we have so much automation, we're kind of uniquely positioned to make a benchmark and say, listen, this is an easy benchmark, and just do it against like some kind of tasks. And they won't be able to kind of, they'll eventually start bullshitting that as well. But, for now it would work. Yeah, and Robert, correct answer. Just ask your main agent which models are the best for each task. It does know, and if you want, it can do a web search and check as well. Erin, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I can't remember if you guys answered this or not, but my Telegram kind of glitched out because the chat became too long, and
That's
my
fixed in this update.
it is okay. So we don't need to do anything like delete the chat or consolidate.
No,
It
God, no,
creates new
no.
ones.
Yeah, it should. If
Okay,
if you've got any problem with that, CC me on support, please.
okay, thank you.
It's new code, so there'll be still, we've got a few more glitches. Still there'll be little bits and pieces, but probably 80-90% of them are now gone. And for most people it's 100%, but for the edge cases we're still seeing a couple of things. We'll fix them over the next week.
Great, thank you.
Joshua?
Yeah, yeah, thanks. I just wanted to clarify that Kimmy code thing. And by the way, I only ended up there just because I was kind of on a budget, pretty tight budget these days. This seems to be turning around. So, but
Yes.
right right now, Olama is not letting me upgrade to the I didn't I delayed doing the upgrade to the $99 plan and like a month ago or whatever, and they're not accepting new upgrades, and I haven't
Ooh.
even been able to find any information about when that might change. Apparently they got really overloaded when Kimmy K3 came out, and so I went to Kimmy Code because I couldn't get Kimmy through Olama, and I'm also using DeepSeek version 4 Pro a lot for my writing because it has less health guardrails on it. Um,
Hmm.
but what happens is if you just go to the Kimmy Code website, which I think is just Kimmy.com, and where it says that they're not accepting anyone, you just click in the upper right and log in with Gmail or whatever, and then join the waiting list, and literally like within minutes, I think it's immediate. It opens up and allows you to sign up. Like it's not really like Olama is actually restricting signups. Kimmy Code not so much. I think they've got plenty of inference over in China where they run those servers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, I'm
Uh,
gonna try that now. I'm gonna join the waiting list and then see if I get something, and then I'll buy it.
yeah,
And then
And
I'll
Joshua, sorry, go on, David. Sorry.
no, no, no. I'm just saying I'm gonna do exactly what you recommended. And once if I get a buy link, I'll buy it. Then I'll send it to Frank to test properly.
Yeah, we had a Kimmy key we used on the API, and I had that to test with. We added new indicators and made it a first class thing. So just have you updated to the new one yet?
I haven't, mostly because something that was mentioned on this call made me think of something to ask my Easy, and it's doing some research right now, and I didn't want to interrupt that
Yeah.
with an update, but I'll update. But yeah, I mean, I have a Moonshot account where I have put tokens or put credits on. But when I got the Kimmy Code thing, I was holding back from putting more credits on there. Right now, my account's drained on there. It is a completely separate system, the Moonshot versus Kimmy.com that obviously there's an API key on the Kimi.com Kimi code subscription,
Mhm.
but it's apparently a completely different system.
Well, it's been differentiated in the code, so try it out. Let me know what you get so far, and we'll anyway continue to try and find ways to test it, okay?
I definitely will. Thank you so much. And if you guys hear of any backdoors into upgrading Olama, let me know because I'd really
Hmm.
like to do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Status of training videos.
The thing is, Thomas, we've been every time I create a video, something changes on the UI or something new comes in. I'm like, crap, I've got to do the whole thing. I think I've created one specific training video like 4 or 5 times. But look, Thomas, if you're stuck on something specific on how to do it, first point of contact, just ask Easy, or this is what I'm trying to do. How do I do this? And Easy will actually help you with that. Me with the issue? Sorry.
And Joel, I don't hear an echo. Joel,
Okay.
just go look in the chats for the update. You just put all agents or just go to your default project and look in if you can find it. I don't know why that happened. If you can just send me your instance, please. Just send me your URL to support and just say this is from Joel. I got stuck on the upgrade. It's not too bad. It's just that it has to, it's cleaning up your notes. So you could always just ask the main agent, hey, I think I just missed the last update. Could you rerun it for me and check it's worked? All right.
We'll do that, Frank. I'm the one
Oh,
who's
yeah.
got stuck too with the screen not being able to see the chats.
Oh, yeah, that was you, Joel. Yeah. Can
Right,
you
right.
see now? You can see them now, right?
No, no, I still can. By the way, I always run my updates, man. I was never I
Yeah.
I look for those all the time. So I was on this one now that we're on, and I ran the last one when David sent out the email. I
Mm.
updated it right away, and then this issue came up where the chats are
Did
on
you
the left.
try
Uh,
did you try in a different browser? Completely different browser.
Hmm.
I think we wrote to you on the support.
I did,
Please
yeah.
try that. And that same no,
Same, same. I still cannot. Yeah.
do you know how to open up console inside a browser? Could you send us any errors that are in there? Because I can't, we've tried it. I logged in from here and it
Okay.
was fine. And our other one logged in, my agent logged in, we can all see it. It's just
Okay.
something totally on. Are you using Brave?
Yes,
Have you switched off the shield?
that's a good question. I gotta look.
Yeah, it could be that. Could be an ad blocker. I mean, I don't know why we'd hit things can hit ad blockers, right? We rename one file, and if that's the case, please, yeah, just tell me that. Show me some ad blocker output or something so I can make sure that we don't trigger the ad blocker anymore. If it's that, if not, write to us. We'll figure this out, Joel. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Okay. Oh wow, yeah, Andrew Dixon putting along building stuff, but just wanted to say thanks for the massive improvement in the reduction of tokens. Used CF about 3 to 4 weeks ago. I used to need a Claude and a GP paid account, but now can get by with just one easily. Dude, thank you so much for that. It was a hell of a lot of work. We implemented caching, we implemented all sorts of strategies in the background. We used the latest stuff, the experimental flags on Claude. Now this other fix from today, there's a huge one where the notes were growing out of size. A whole bunch of optimizations in the background. All the tools are using like a side channel so they don't waste your context. The agents have been trained to be more conservative with when they pull things in. If you drag images, they put it on another file. And oh man, there's so much stuff. So I'm glad to hear it's helping. Even for me, I just like, and it speeds things up as well. The less tokens you use, the faster things go. So cool. Thank you, Andrew.
That's cool.
Kind of makes it worthwhile, by the way, when you
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
that
totally. Because
it's.
these are the things people don't notice, right? There's a lot
Mm,
things happening in the background that's saving you guys a lot of money. And Frank's been working very hard to do that.
yeah, a lot of 3 o'clock in the mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's a great, we're building a great product we love, and it's really cool that we have you guys too. It's very different than building it in isolation, so thank you.
Cheers. Cheers. Thanks,
Thank you,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Um, Cool, guys. If there's anything else, just let us know. Okay, Kate, we'll take one last one from Katie. And if there's nothing else after that, we'll close this out a bit, make a bit of a short one this week, guys. Go for it, Kate.
Yeah, sorry, I posted it in the chat twice,
Oh,
but you missed it. So it was just that this is so basic. I'm sort of embarrassed to ask, but in the dashboard, it gives me an opportunity. So I've got my first. Actually, I'm going to move the screen so I can actually see it. So I've got my easy installation. Just got one. It says my first agent. I wanted to change the name on that, so I clicked on the edit and I could change the name, but then there's this bit underneath which says help URL, and changing this redeploys the installation to the new help link, and it scared me.
Okay, no worries. So basically, you don't need to change that help URL. You can just leave it blank. That help URL is there if you're reselling that instance to someone else and you want that someone else to contact you for support instead of coming to us directly for support. So you can just leave that help URL blank and just change the title.
I hope to get to that stage where I'm selling it and I'm the support, but not there yet.
That's okay. No
Thank
worries. All right, cool,
Don't
guys.
worry so much. By the way, just two things quick. Sorry, David.
Yeah, go for it.
Kate, don't worry too much about losing. When it says redeploy, it doesn't mean you're going to lose everything. It just means it's going to have to go through a 15-minute cycle while it does some bits and pieces, but your data will be safe. And yeah, and I will obviously, and I guess David, we just speak to Dimitri to clean up the wording and the signposting. Yeah, let's do that. One last thing, Peter, is it true that it consumes a lot of tokens just for upgrades? Well, it can, but no more than a normal chat. It's not a different thing. An upgrade is just when we pass control to your agent. We give you control of your agent, but your agent is being directed by our system to perform a specific task, like an optimization or a specific task like this one now, where it needs to kind of look for these oversized notes. So it's given like kind of this one-time task. You just guide it through. They can consume a lot of tokens because they do a big search through your system, but again, not that much more than a normal chat. What task burns the most tokens? Anything where you're dragging in a lot of context, when you're dragging in big documents. But even now, we made a tool called the Summarize tool. You'll see it happening where it does that on the side. But that, a token is like, say, 2 or 3 letters. So if you imagine the word hello, that's probably about 2 tokens. And $15 is 1 million tokens on Opus, but it doesn't actually cost that much. In reality, it's about $3 or $4 or something. So you're always, whenever you drag big things in, you're spending tokens. But look, after years of doing this, honestly, you just kind of have to be sensible and forget about it. Make sure forever, I'm going to say this, tell your agent to, after you've done this update, to do a model routing check. So say, please, can you update my model routing? Please, can you update my model routing? And as I think Elias said, or Jeremiah, I can't remember, sorry, which of you two it was, I'll ask it if there's anything to optimize, anything to fix, have a look at the log files, say, check all my stuff, is everything okay? Do that once in a while as well. But always update your models, especially when new ones get done, because if you use the wrong model for the wrong thing, it's just you're wasting tokens for nothing. Like Fable 5, really, really cool for very complex things. But for most stuff you're doing, you can use Terra on GPT Terra on middle, or stuff like that. So be sensible and don't worry too much about it. The price changes all the time. We don't know. Focus first on the job you're trying to do and pick the best model for the job. David, all yours, mate. Sorry about that. Thank you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so Peter, just send us a support ticket for that one. We'd have to dig deep and check, if you're one of our early adopters. But I think that's about it for this week, guys. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining today. If you have any questions that were not answered during this, do send in a support ticket and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you for being here. It's going, you're riding this wave with us, and we're super excited about it. I'm going to put together a training for next week, so I will write an email about that next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday. We can go into some lead generation, and we can either combine it with a community call or it'll be a separate call together. So thanks everyone for joining today, and we'll be in touch very soon. Thanks for joining.
Thank you all. Ciao.
Bye, guys.